because I've never written it down. So this is it. So you're about to know it. For the first time. So the lockdown happened, and you needed a very good excuse to be leaving the country to go to. Flights were, everything was on lockdown. Um, so first couple of times, I was able to get a flight to Dusseldorf or Cologne or somewhere, and because Helena lived in the Netherlands, she was able to just get a train into Germany. So we met there, um, and everything was great. But then all of a sudden, they started putting this curfew thing down, so you couldn't fly to Germany, and then you had if I flew to the Netherlands, then I had to be there at if I didn't get there by 9 o'clock at night, then there was no way that I could get from the airport to Helena's house. But that's even if I got there, because there were Garda patrols on the Northern Ireland border, and then when you got down to Dublin Airport, you had to get through the Garda at the passport to let them know that you were going on a flight for a solid reason, sort of thing. And then if you got through that, then you had to show the flight desk, or the boarding desk, a PCR test. At first, that was all that was needed, but then you needed to show a PCR test, and then this thing called a lateral flow test. So you needed a PCR test to show that you were in general fine and free from COVID, but you needed a lateral flow test, which was done at the airport and had to be done no more than 4 hours before your flight. And then you got that as a notification, like 2 hours before your flight, and then you could show that to the boarding desk, and then on you went. Now, I'm telling you, whenever I during this time, I was going down to Dublin Airport, and if I managed to get through the border patrol, managed to get through the Garda at the passport and everything else, and got into the main airport, there were like about 10 people in the airport. It was like the end of the world. I'd never seen anything like it before. So at the start, Ryanair were accepting NHS PCR tests. So I would go, if I was going on a Friday, I would go on a Thursday down to the Odyssey, get a test done, then the next day get an email to say you're clear, print that off, and then take that with me to the airport, show that at the boarding desk if I managed to get through which I did all the time anyway, and then that would be accepted. But then this lateral flow test thing came in, and that was like €120 a time, if you had to fly, so, I mean, and by the way, the flights were about £9 at this time, because nobody was able to fly, so Ryanair were putting on these flights at 7 o'clock, and you could get a flight from Dublin to Amsterdam for like a tenner, because all they were doing was just bringing staff over to the Netherlands or backwards. So the plane, I mean, I went over a few times on an airplane and I was the only passenger. There were some staff members or whatever. So on this end, everything was it was all confusion, but I got into the way of it. So I got to the border, and the Garda were there, and they were saying, "Where are you going to?" and I said, and this is like every 11 days, by the way, for a year. Got to the border. Where are you going to, sir? I'm going over to the Netherlands, because I was able to show them then my flight that I'd booked. Is your journey essential? Yes, it is. And what are you doing? I'm an art dealer. I'm meeting up with some art people over in Amsterdam, and then I'm going to come back with some commissions for artwork. Right. I mean, then the Garda guys sort of going, is that essential? And I'm going, yeah, because it's my business up in Belfast is art. You know, I'm an art dealer, so I need to bring art into, you know. Oh, okay. So basically baffle them. Mask on as well. He's got the mask on. So I reached the airport, into the airport, and they hadn't actually started the Garda passport checks at that stage, so I was able to get through that. Then show my PCR test that I'd got the day before, and then off I went to the Netherlands. Then it started getting more and more difficult. Every single week there was a new complication came into the thing. So then that's when the lateral flow test came in. And not only did I have to prove then that I was going to the Netherlands for an essential journey when I was leaving, when I got to the Netherlands, I had to prove to Dutch passport control that my arrival was essential, or they wouldn't have let me into into Amsterdam, to further my trip, sort of thing. So I got Helena to send me like scans or whatever. Because Helena had 2 kids, and she had like photographs of scans. You know those scans you get whenever you're like just pregnant, or a couple. The first scans that you do whenever you're pregnant. And on Photoshop, I changed the dates of the scan to make it look as if the child was mine. Well, it was hers, but it was mine. But that I had to go to the Netherlands because my fiance was was expecting our baby. And then I had photographs of her and I, like from months before, because you had to prove that you'd been in a long-term relationship with the person as well. And you also had to get this sort of documentation from the Dutch government that they accepted that you were in a long-term relationship. So I got all that sorted out.